I'm very grateful for all of the work that you're doing. And yes, we can make it happen. Sí se puede. Gracias. Thank you.
Mayor Garcetti celebrates National Small Business Day at an East Valley restaurant. District 15 holds a vaccine event, and City Attorney Mike Feuer sets the record straight on evictions. These stories up next on City Beat.
Mayor Eric Garcetti visited Farm Table Restaurant in the East Valley in commemoration of National Small Business Day.
One of the things that I've asked our City Hall to do and proposed in our budget to our City Council, which they're voting on right now, is to cut costs for businesses, to reduce red tape, to reduce those fees and those permits that sometimes stand in the way of getting something stood up again.
The mayor championed LA residents for supporting small businesses and discussed items like the permanent expansion of al fresco dining.
We've got a great budget that will help us give recovery checks, comeback checks we're calling them, to 5,000 businesses of $5,000. No questions asked.
The Cabrillo Marine Aquarium staff rolled up their sleeves for a giveaway event in District 15.
Cabrillo Marine Aquarium has been closed, just like everybody else, due to the COVID crisis. So we've tried to do things throughout our time off to help our community. We've had a couple blood drives, and today we're doing a food distribution event.
Southern California Gas and the energy corporation Valero were among the sponsors of the event. Providence Little Company of Mary Medical Center was on site to offer COVID-19 vaccinations. The event was also supported by the Wilmington YMCA and Councilmember Joe Buscaino. A federal judge has issued a sweeping ruling that would revoke a pandemic eviction moratorium put in place by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. But the city of Los Angeles is proudly doing things differently.
You might have heard of a recent federal court decision that struck down the nationwide eviction moratorium. Let me be clear, this ruling has no impact on California's or the city of Los Angeles' laws that protect tenants, and those laws are still in effect.
In his weekly Message from Mike, City Attorney Feuer reasserts that the nationwide eviction moratorium is not an issue for LA or California residents due to local protections.
If you're an LA city tenant and you believe that your landlord is violating local or state law, you can contact the Housing and Community Investment Department's hotline. That's at 1-866-557-7368.
With the impact of the pandemic gradually subsiding, the awareness of pre-existing epidemics in our society has begun to resurface in awareness. One such epidemic is the tragic rise of opioid addictions. Maria Hall-Brown sat down with DEA Special Agent in Charge, Bill Bodner, to discuss the prevalence of overdoses and the dangers of fentanyl.
The CDC reported over 81,000 overdose deaths for the 12 months ending in May of 2020. That's a tragic scenario, but here to help us understand what's going on, I am delighted to be joined by the DEA Special Agent in Charge, Bill Bodner.
The root of this problem was 15 years ago, Maria. We started with an opiate epidemic that was really driven by prescription drugs. But what's happened? We have these people that are addicted, and they've turned to the black market to get prescription drugs. And unfortunately, these black market prescription drugs contain fentanyl.
And the amount required to actually kill you is minuscule.
Tiny. It could be 2 milligrams. 2 milligrams. 2 milligrams could be enough to kill you. And in these pills, the dosing is very inconsistent. So even if you knew what the drug was, which many times people don't, they think it's something else, but even if you knew what it was, it's still so dangerous to take because you don't know the dose.
Legitimate prescription drugs. Twice a year, the DEA sponsors what is called, take back. People have meds in their house, and if somebody no longer needs them and they have an excess of them, that is a problem as well.
It is. I mean, as I said, if there's one thing that I hope we learned in the early days of the opiate crisis, it is that whether we're talking about a national scale or the micro scale right in our own homes, excess drugs can lead to recreational drug use, and that can lead to addiction.
And if people want to learn more about what's going on and what's happening with the DEA, what's the best thing?
The best thing you can do, you follow us on Twitter here in Los Angeles at DEA Los Angeles, and our website is dea.gov, and it will have everything on there that you need with regards to DEA.
Well, keep up the good work, Special Agents. Really, really fascinating to talk to you, and I really appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
LA City Treasurer Diana Mangioglu, who handles the finances for LA, gave us an inside look at the 2021 budget and how the federal funds from the American Rescue Plan will affect Angelenos. Check it out.
As treasurer for the city of Los Angeles, our responsibility is to serve as the custodian for all public funds. The mayor's proposed budget was released on April 20th, and it assumes $1.3 billion in American Rescue Plan dollars. And what this essentially does is that it doubles the budget for homelessness. It helps replenish the budget for city departments, and it also increases the city's reserve levels, bringing it up to a historic 11.3%. In terms of tools and resources that we're offering LA City businesses are all available on our website. For those startup businesses, we have the LA Business Portal, which has basic information and resources. And then, of course, we have our monthly e-newsletter that's available for our businesses that includes up-to-date information on programs that are available through Office of Finance and other city departments that benefit businesses. This year, we launched our virtual public counter program, which essentially allows anybody with a computer and a mobile phone to have a face-to-face interaction with our customer support specialists. We are looking to launch our financial literacy workshop. Finance is really looking to target the city business community, basically our business tax base. We will be working with our council offices to identify how we can tailor these workshops for specific needs throughout the city.
Just like clockwork, Councilwoman Monica Rodriguez is spending another weekend giving back to her constituents in District 7. This past weekend, the Councilwoman observed a time-honored tradition of giving out flowers and thanks on Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. Well, we know how mothers have been struggling through the course of this pandemic, trying to balance the needs of taking care of their family, providing the child care service, tutoring for the kids in school. They've had to wear all the hats. So for me, as a mom, I wanted to show some affection and appreciation for all the other moms that are in the struggle alongside with everyone else. It's really important that we do our part to celebrate and uplift the contributions that moms make throughout our communities, and this is a small way for us to be able to do that.
Every event she makes is very, very good, very helpful. She likes to help people, and we're very thankful for her.
Pues me gusta que haga esto porque hay veces que no lo reconocen y es buena idea que aunque sea una vez al año nos den algo.
My mom has been such an important influence in my life, and she has been one of the best examples of someone who is just selfless and providing unconditional love and support. And I'm incredibly grateful to still have her, still have my grandmothers, and I look forward to celebrating with them.
Happy Mother's Day!
From the summer of unrest sparked by the death of George Floyd to the disturbing rise of hate crimes against the Asian American community, the outcry for racial justice and equity is louder than ever before. In our feature this week, we take a look at what Mayor Garcetti is doing to address racial equity within city offices as well as the Los Angeles community at large. With the appointment of Brenda Shockley, LA's first ever Chief Equity Officer, Mayor Garcetti shows that those outcries have not fallen on deaf ears. Anita Bennett has the story.
Last summer, Los Angeles, like so many other cities, saw massive crowds take to the streets demanding racial justice. The catalyst for that call for change was the police killing of George Floyd in Minneapolis. Now, Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti listened, and he appointed the city's first ever chief equity officer. The woman who took on that role is Brenda Shockley, the city's deputy mayor for economic opportunity. She is with us today to discuss LA's Racial Equity Action Plan. Ms. Shockley, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Anita. Thank you for having me.
So what is the city's action plan?
Well, the city's action plan is rooted in the mayor's Executive Directive 27, which was issued after and during the wake of the demonstrations. The racial equity in city government is really what the Executive Directive focuses on, as well as the contracting, where the city spends well over $1 billion in vendor contracts. Organizations and businesses of color have been identified as really almost de minimis in terms of the amount of money that the city is spending.
But addressing these issues, there are critics who will say, well, this is affirmative action that the city is trying to do. So how do you respond to those folks?
To those same people, the advantages that you and generations of your family have received as part of the largesse of being an American, that same consideration and the righting of those wrongs, those things that were done to others in order to increase your wealth, that has to be addressed, that has to be corrected.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Deputy Mayor Brenda Shockley, and best of luck to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Celebrate Loomis Day Viva Poetry with the LAPL. Check out the 2021 Asian American Expo or settle down with some Tales of the Silk Road. All this up next on Things to Do.
The LA Public Library invites you to the annual Loomis Day celebration. Known in Northeast LA as a multicultural festival of ethnic flavors, community arts, and music, this year LAPL brings you its version, Loomis Day Viva Poetry. You'll be treated to the works and creative process of two celebrated poets, 2009 PEN Emerging Voices Fellow Erica Ayon and Ramon Garcia, author of Mandorla, New Writing from the Americas. Reserve your spot now for this awesome poetry event happening Sunday, May 23rd at 3 p.m. Visit lapl.org/events. The Asian American Expo has gone virtual for 2021 as we celebrate the Year of the Ox. The ox is defined by the characteristics of calmness, patience, dependability, and inspiring confidence in others. And like the ox, the Asian American Expo is promoting the values of social distancing and staying safe by presenting the festivities on a digital platform. Celebrate Asian Pacific Heritage Month and the Year of the Ox with the Asian American Expo. Visit AsianAmericanExpo.com. The LA Public Library is back online with another installment of its Creative Artists series, LA Made. This week, explore Tales of the Silk Road, multicultural music for a multicultural world. Enjoy traditional and new music from indigenous instruments of India, Japan, and more. This LA Made program is made possible with the generous support of the National Endowment for the Humanities. Be sure to check out Tales of the Silk Road, multicultural music for a multicultural world. The performance streams on the LA Public Library's Facebook page and YouTube channels. And that's a look at some virtual things to do.
That's it for this edition. I'm Natalia Bilbao, and from all of us here at LA This Week, thank you so much for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. See you next time for more LA This Week.
say primarily police department and DWP would be the two, but anything non-emergency or any kind of general information, call 311. Even the various departments, if they get a call from somebody and they have no clue where they should be sending that person, they transfer them to 311.
Good for them.
That's right.
They know where the resource is.
That's right.
But there is an interesting relationship with LADWP. I mean, if you have an LADWP online account, that can automatically be your account for the MyLA 311, and you can pay your bill as well, correct?
That's right. If you register your MyLA 311 and let them know that you have a DWP online account, it will link those two accounts so that you can actually access a few services on the MyLA 311 app that only paying residential sanitation service customers can use, such as that bulky item pickup. If you are a residential customer paying sanitation services, you can get as many of those bulky item pickups if you want. You can report one every week. If you have an old couch, if you have some old electronics, if you have an old mattress, put it out there by the curb on your regular trash day and make this appointment and they'll come and pick it up. And those services are only available if you're a paying customer. Trash collection, that's another one. If they didn't pick up the trash that day, you can report the missed trash. And you can also do that by calling 311. But by linking your account, you can pay your utility bill online and you can also take advantage of those services.
That's a godsend, because sometimes trying to get rid of that huge stuff that you can't do it. I mean, no one wants to pick it up or take it because it's not actually something that can be recycled or used by another nonprofit organization.
That's right.
All right, so then makes me think, is there a limit to how many requests you can put in through 311? I mean, is there any kind of, you know, oh my gosh, there's Maria again.
No, there's really no limit. In fact, some customers, when they're out in the evening walking the dog or whatever, they'll be jotting down several locations of different problems, and then they'll call us up on the phone and report 10 different things at once. And if we get a call like that, we're usually jotting it down too, and then we'll put them all in the computer for them.
People obviously are concerned about their privacy. You know, we have put a lot of our information out there on a number of accounts and sites and apps, et cetera. So what are the protections that one can feel confident in if they do in fact, you know, get the MyLA 311 app or they register online? What are some of the safeguards?
Well, most of the service request types can be submitted anonymously.
Okay.
You don't have to provide your contact information for most of them. You don't have to provide your email or your name. There are a couple of departments that do require that, and we'll let you know when that happens and why they need the information. But the city's regular privacy policy that is accessible from the bottom of any of our web pages applies. The information that's in the MyLA 311 system in many cases gets requested as part of public records request, but any personal information such as names and contact information is redacted from them before it goes out. And if I were to submit a service request and then you went online and tried to look for my service request, whether it would be from the mayor's website or whatever, you'll only see the basic information about the request, what the problem was and where it was, not who reported it or any other details.
So the person that's reporting the barking dog is not going to be subject to the person who owns the barking dog knowing that they did it.
That's right.
Well, that's along those lines is we're all becoming substantially more tech savvy. So what are some of the benefits of actually having the app or doing it online versus the call center? And not to say that the call center isn't important and how great to have a human voice on the other end, but I would imagine from your vantage point, this is a more efficient route.
We do encourage self-service as much as possible. Many people in Los Angeles are tech savvy and they don't really want to call the call center. They don't want to wait on hold. They don't want to speak with someone. They really just want to quickly submit the request and go on their way. So those tech savvy people can do that very easily using the mobile app or the web page. However, there's another big segment of Los Angeles who maybe are not English speaking, There's a large senior community. There's a lot of low-income families, things like that, that may not have access to technology or smartphones. So that's one reason that the call center is there for them, to help them in those situations to submit service requests or to provide information.
How many languages, by the way, you have that people
we have access to an interpreting service, and so we can help people in over 150 different languages when they call.
Wow. What's the average amount of interactions? Because I would include both the online interactions as well as the verbal interactions. How big has 311 become?
Well, let's say this past year, I think we had 1.5 million phone calls, several 100,000 emails, and there were over 650,000 service requests submitted via the mobile app and the web page. So it's caught on very well with the people in Los Angeles, and those who use it tend to use it frequently.
When I downloaded the app, which took like 2 seconds, it asked me if I wanted notifications. So what kind of notifications would I receive if I in fact said yes? Would I get, emergency notifications? Would I get COVID notifications? What would I get?
You would likely to get those email responses about the service request that you submit.
So personal directly to me.
That's right, directly for you. You also may get notifications because one of the features of the mobile app is that you can see some of the main feeds from our social media accounts. The city has many social media accounts, just like it has many websites, so every department has their own, but you'd see maybe the mayor's feed, the fire department feed, the police department feed, or the LA City feed, where there's a lot of new information being sent out there that might be of interest to you.
Very like front line, behind the scenes information. You don't have
right.
to sit around and wait for someone else to call through it.
That's right.
Okay, so is there a particular geographic boundary? I mean, I keep saying the city. So is there a geographic boundary of what you will be able to utilize and have?
Well, with regards to information, we can help anybody who calls. We get calls from people all around the world who maybe are coming to Los Angeles for some reason, or they have an elderly family member in Los Angeles and they're trying to find services for their family member or whatever. So we can help in that way. But with regards to the service requests where a crew has to come out, it is specifically around the geographic city limits of the city of Los Angeles, which is kind of the craziest looking city limits you can imagine, right? It has that long skinny corridor that goes down to Long Beach there. But in any case, our system actually has all of the city addresses built into the system. So if you're close to the border and you try to report something, our system will let us know that you're in Santa Monica. You have to call this another city hall for that. But if you're in our city limits, then we'll take the request and help you out.
You'll tell the person, though,
Yes.
that I'm sorry you're right on the border and we can't help you in this particular instance. This is not important, but it just made me think. It's the fact that you're getting calls from around the world. What's the most unusual thing you can remember somebody called to ask you about? Was it weather related, or was it, where should I stay in a hotel, or?
Well, we've actually had calls of people asking about, I'm coming to Los Angeles and I know somewhere there by City Hall there's a very well-known place to get a really good sandwich.
Oh, cool.
And do you know the name of that place? And I might ask the people on the floor, who knows a good place? Philippe's, okay. So we get odd questions like that, but it could really be anything. I know one of the most unusual ones that I ever had when I was a call taker many years ago was a lady reporting a snake in the bathtub.
Oh dear.
And that's because her bathroom window was open a little bit, and I guess it came up the ivy and somehow it ended up in the bathtub. And so she called and was wondering if the city could come and take care of that.
Oh, did you refer to 911 or did you go get this? Oh my gosh.
I think we did contact Animal Services to see if they would handle it, and then they gave advice on what to do. So
right. There are some I thought there was some interesting information on the website itself, just talking about announcements like for, I don't know, was it a class action suit or something like that. There's also just general information that is available right on the home page when you pop up. So I imagine that that's a good resource for people who maybe don't have an issue at the moment, but just kind of want to see what the lay of the land is right now.
That's right. So those same feeds that are available on the mobile app are also available at the bottom of the web page, so you can look there for information. And using the search box at the very top of the app, you can put in keywords, like I said, like permits or homeless resources or things like that, and various knowledge-based articles will pop up and give you information on what's available. So you can sort of browse through them and see what you might be interested in. So you can learn a lot just by looking through the knowledge base or those social media feeds too.
And if you're seeking permits and that kind of thing, you know, are there permits, I mean, are there links to the building? Or is it actually there's templates for permits up there? Yeah, actually about 30% of the work that 311 does relates to building and safety. We have a special agreement with them, and so we front end a lot of their calls. But we do take requests about property violations, you know, if the neighbor doesn't upkeep their yard or whatever. And we also help make appointments for building permit inspections, because when you get a building permit and then you do the work, the inspectors have to come out and check off to make sure that you've done it correctly. So we help a lot with building and safety on those types of things. And but if you look up permits, you'll find that there's a variety of permits. There's building permits. There's also like street opening permit. If let's say your sewer line is blocked and you need to cut a hole in the street to get out to the sewer, you have to get a permit to be able to do that. There's permits for if the city tree out there, if you'd like it to be trimmed and it's not your time as far as the grid cycle, remember I mentioned that, right? Then you can actually get a no-fee permit to trim the tree yourself. Oh. So there's a lot of different things you can do, and there's a lot of things that require permits. So just starting there at MyLA 311 will give you some idea of what you're looking for. And yes, when you click on the articles, there are links to the department websites where the details are with more information. It's really nice that people take ownership so that they don't have to sit around and wait for some, you know, nameless, faceless government entity to do something. They can take ownership and then ask this wonderful government entity to assist.
That's right.
All right, so we mentioned it earlier, but let's go ahead and be very clear. If people want more information, or people want to download the app, or people just want to investigate further, the best way for them to do that.
Regarding the mobile app, the best thing to do is to go to your local app store and type in MyLA 311, like one word, and you'll find the app. If you'd like to use the website, it's myla311.lacity.org. The main city website is actually lacity.org, so just by putting MyLA311 in front of that with the dot is an easy way to get there. From the city website, you can also, there's a button on the main city website to get there. And calling 311 or emailing 311@lacity.org. We're even on social media. We're on Twitter and Instagram at MyLA311. We've tried to make it as easy as we can.
Well, it's absolutely fascinating. I really appreciate all of this information, Donna, and I really enjoyed our chat.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity to share about 311. I think it's a great community service, and everybody should use it.
I agree. And that's a wrap on this LA Currents.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to the Budget and Finance Committee's consideration of the Mayor's proposed budget for fiscal year 21-22. And today is the day, it's our final day of this hearing, hopefully. This is the day when we hear back the report from the CLA, which we colloquially refer to as the rack-up, which I'll talk about in a moment. But first, let me just talk about some of what we've done so far. This hearing has included almost 7 hours of public comment, in addition to the 4 additional days or evenings that members of this committee and other members of the council spent in listening tours around the city. We've conducted over 35 hours of hearings on the departmental budgets from the heads of each of those departments, including 2 brand new departments that didn't even exist before we started this process. We've heard presentations and asked questions of over 30 departments. We've heard from our civilian labor partners who came and participated in this process, as well as the neighborhood council budget advocates who've provided their input on behalf of about 100 neighborhood councils across the city. And in the process of that, the members of this committee produced 210 requests for reports back to provide more detailed information for consideration by the full committee. And those 210 budget impact memos, as we got their reports back, contained really crucial information regarding changes that the mayor has proposed, and also changes that we would like to consider making to the budget. And so we have the combined work product of all of that effort now was taken together by the CLA's office, and over the course of recent days, the CLA's office has done Herculean work to try to accommodate the priorities of this committee as expressed through our variety of motions and through the memos that we've gotten in our budget reports back, and working, day and night since then. They've sharpened their pencils. They've reviewed cost estimates. They have analyzed revenue projections, and all of the other work that they do every year to create the rack-up, which is a very difficult process to try to take a budget that already has been thoroughly vetted and then take hundreds of proposed changes to that budget and vet those changes and re-vet the original budget all in this span of a few days, really. So I want to first tip my hat to Sharon So and all of her staff at the CLA's office for producing that volume of work in such a short amount of time with such a high degree of precision and reliability. Now, if that weren't enough, this year, of course, this entire budget is premised on the receipt of a substantial infusion of federal money under the American Relief Plan. And I think it's important that the public understand first that when they read in the newspaper about the city receiving $1.3 billion under this plan, it's important to note first, as of today, the city has not received a single dime of that money. This year, we hope, this fiscal year, before June 30th, we will receive half of that money. And that half, that amount of money will be devoted virtually entirely to eliminating the deficit that we're facing in this year's budget, which leaves half of the money for the next fiscal year to address all of the impacts that COVID-19 has had on our revenues, but also on the public. So there are great demands on that additional money, which is one-time money. It's not increased revenues that we can count on in future budget years. It is one-time money that will allow us to make an infusion of investments and deal with shortfalls in revenues that we otherwise would have experienced in the coming fiscal year. So that is a huge complication of the work that the CLA would already be doing on the rack-up, especially because, as it happened, the federal government released its draft guidelines for the expenditure of this money last week, this week, and 160 plus pages of federal draft regulations that aren't even finalized yet will determine what this funding can be spent on, what it cannot be spent on, how it's to be spent, all of that. So despite the security that we get from having that money available to us, and God knows we're in a much more comfortable position because of that than we were just 3 months ago. But that being said, there's still extraordinary uncertainty around that funding. So I don't want people to think that this is all a settled matter. There's still much work that this committee is going to have to do, even after we pass this budget today, to ensure going forward that these expenditures are in fact consistent with the federal guidelines as they become finalized, and to ensure that we're continuing to monitor revenues and ensuring that as the economy recovers, our revenues are in fact keeping pace with the projections included in this budget. There's going to be a tremendous number of variables that this committee is going to be tasked with monitoring as we go forward through the budget year. So a budget is never a finalized document. It's always a living, breathing document. But this year, more than most, you can be sure that we're going to have lots of work to do in readjusting these budget appropriations that we're going to make today throughout the budget year. So I just want to make sure we're all prepared for that task ahead of us. That being said, we have before us, the CLA's office is prepared now to present the rack-up, their recommendations. After the CLA makes a brief presentation, what we're going to do is go page by page through the rack-up. And that's, many, many pages of recommendations. So we're going to do that on a page-by-page basis. By all means, as we go through the rack-up, if you have any questions or concerns about anything that's contained in the rack-up, feel free to raise your hand and we'll take those questions. But I would ask, please do not introduce motions to change those recommendations until we get to the end, because otherwise it's going to be frenetic. Let's finish the report. At the conclusion of the report, we'll then go to motions. I will introduce quite a number of motions, some technical, some substantial, and I think that some of those motions may address concerns that we've all shared about these recommendations or the mayor's budget. And then I'm sure that everybody else is going to have motions that they're going to want to introduce as well. And we'll just take them methodically one at a time. At the conclusion of all that, after the motions have been voted on, we will take a final vote on the entire set of recommendations as amended by our motions. And that will be the recommendation that then goes forward to the City Council for its approval. So any questions on process or anything else before we begin? All right. Then, yes, I guess. A very important question on process from the clerk, which is, perhaps we should establish a quorum. So why don't we go ahead and do that now?
Krikorian.
Here.
Blumenfield.
Blumenfield present.
De Leon.
Here.
Rodriguez. Here. Rodriguez.
Here.
Price. Price.
Still here.
Thank you. 5 members present and a quorum, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. And thank you for the reminder. And for the record, all members were here throughout all of that discussion that I just engaged in. So anything else we need to do for housekeeping or anything? Okay, very good. Well, with that, I want to welcome and again express my thanks to the CLA team for this work. As I say, every year this is a monumental task which always extends over Mother's Day weekend, which I apologize to all of you who get their Mother's Day weekends messed up because of this. But it is the work that the city depends upon in constructing its budget. And so we thank you for it. And I'd like to invite the CLA to begin their presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Those were very kind comments, and we appreciate them. We don't do it alone. In addition to our CLA staff, who are deeply appreciative of all the work that they've done, we also extend our appreciation to the CAO's office, who has been a great partner during this process, as well as department staff, your staff as well, our city clerk and city attorney who've been with us throughout this process, as well as all of the assistance that we did receive from the various departments that were before your committee. So we express our deep appreciation to everyone that assisted us. With that said, Mr. Chair, you basically presented my short overview that I was going to do. Andrea is going to go through the hard part, which is detailing the different additions that we have made. But essentially, we've taken all of the comments that were made during this committee, as well as taking into consideration the proposed budget that was presented by the mayor, which basically reflected a large part of the council's priorities as it relates to the very core services that our people in the city depend upon, as well as addressing some of the calls for more funding for racial and economic and social justice. And so we took all of that into consideration. Last week, you took various actions on the CAO memos, and you guys presented us a very serious challenge. There were a number of recommendations that you wanted to put forward and ask us to consider and see if there was funding for. Unfortunately, we were thrown for a loop earlier this week when the State Treasury Department issued their interim guidelines on the American Rescue Plan. As you know, the mayor's proposed budget relies heavily on the ARP, as we refer to it. The first thing that we do know is that the $1.3 billion that the city is receiving, automatically we found out that we would be receiving as $75 million less, which for the CLA to say $75 million doesn't concern her, that's the first time you're ever going to hear me say that, because that's not what concerns us the most. It is really the interim guidelines themselves. And so it is going to remain to be seen how those guidelines are interpreted and whether the budget is going to be consistent with those guidelines. I know that the CAO has already applied for those funds. As you indicated, Mr. Chair, we have not received any funding yet, but it is going to be dependent upon us being able to look at the budget and ensure that those funds are compliant. We believe they are. We believe that adjustments will be necessary, though, to make certain of that. With that said, with that $75 million hole that was created, in addition to the many asks of this committee, it was going to be a severe challenge. But fortunately, we can report that we believe that the city is clearly on a road of economic recovery. As it would turn out in the last few days, most of our economy-sensitive revenues have shown a marked improvement. And because of that, we were able to identify funding to not only fill the gap, but also to address many of the priorities that were discussed during the committee process. The only caveat that we would have with regard to revenues is with regard to property tax. And usually the county assessor releases an estimate for the upcoming year. That still has not been released, and so that is the only caveat as it relates to the revenue estimates. So as stated, we believe that the funds will be compliant, that we have identified sufficient funds to fill the gap, to fund the stated priorities. Also, in addition to that, the other thing is that the reserve fund, we will be able to maintain at the very high level that this committee has been very focused on in attaining that 10% magical figure that we've been trying to strive for as long as I can remember, since the financial policies were developed. It's also important to keep in mind why it's so necessary to have a sufficient reserve. You know, when we look at the 4-year outlook, there are still deficits projected in the near term. In addition to that, as the chair indicated earlier, there are a lot of programs in the current year budget that are funded with one-time monies. And to the extent that there is any desire to continue those programs next year, it is going to be very, very important to have a reserve that can help sustain some of those programs. To help alleviate some of the concern that we have with restoring many of the positions that this committee wishes to restore and to provide services to the city, we are recommending to establish the position authorities that were restored primarily through the lost through the separation incentive program, that those positions be funded for 6 months and effective for hiring on January 1st. We believe that would give us some time to see where we really are going to end up as it relates to not only the economy, whether it's a sustained recovery, whether we achieve herd immunity and the pandemic is at an end, relative to the ARP monies, and as the guidelines are developed and finalized, whether our expenditure projections are consistent with those guidelines. So in summary, what we try to do in this report is to strike a balance between restoring the many city services that you are interested in, as well as balancing with the uncertainties of our economy. And so with that said, we believe that the recommendations before you achieve that, and we look forward to discussing them further and looking forward to taking your questions. So thank you.
Good afternoon, Andrea Galvin with the CLA's office. We can go ahead and start going through the report. As the chair stated, we go through it page by page, section by section, and if there may be some technical adjustments and clarifications that we will make along the way as we get to those particular pages. As you will note, the first 4 pages are a summary of the changes that we've made. If we flip past that, we'll get to the actual revenue section. As it's noted above, we do note the mayor's proposed reserve fund, which was, that's the proposed budget's reserve fund. Then we get into revenue changes. This includes the deduction made for the revised ARP calculation. It includes business tax, documentary transfer tax, franchise income, grant receipts, and interest income. And just to note, these are changes that we are recommending to the revenue portion of the proposed budget. We go on with revenue on page 2. There's license permits, fees, and fines, parking fines, reversions and prior year encumbrances, and special fund revenues. And then page 3, we have tobacco settlement, transient occupancy tax, and utility users tax, and that's the sum of the revenue changes. As we move on to page 4, we are at expenditure changes. This page contains changes recommended for aging, animal services, capital finance, city attorney, city clerk, civil human rights and equity, and cultural affairs. The following page, we have,
I'm sorry, before we move on, just one brief question on the revenue portion. If we can go back to page 3. Needless to say, this has been an extraordinary 18 months or so in trying to project forward with revenues, and TOT in particular was decimated with the loss of tourism and business travel in Los Angeles. So can you talk a little bit about the recognition of additional TOT receipts here and what that's based on and sort of level of confidence that we might have on some of these revised revenue projections?
So the majority of that particular increase, it's actually a small increase. I'm trying to remember what the 2021 was. I believe that was related to home sharing, that number, I'm looking for CAO. I believe that was related to home sharing.
Oh, I see.
So
Okay.
part of that increase. And then in addition to that, there was the marketing campaign that is included in the proposed budget as well. You may recall that the ARP monies are funding a marketing campaign through the Convention and Tourism Department, and there were no anticipated revenues associated with that campaign. So we just added an additional $5 million based on, with the expectation that the marketing campaign of $5 million would generate at least $5 million in TOT.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Okay, so we were at.
Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Blumenfield had a question as well. Sorry, I couldn't see the hand there.
We're still on page 4, correct? I had a question on page 4.
Yes.
Dealing with animal services. And it's sort of a question, comment, a concern. I re-looked at their request and the letter from our colleague, Mr. Koretz, on this matter. And it seems that animal services does actually need the $700,000 in addition to the $1.1 million in the UB. And we're reducing that amount in this proposal. You know, at the time we talked about this, I made the argument that if we weren't going to give them all the positions they asked for, we should at least give them the animal care techs or the vet tech positions that they need. You know, in addition to the humanitarian reasons, it's just a math problem. The general manager, Brenda Barnett, told us here in committee that it costs the city more to put down animals than it does to keep those animals healthy and to get them adopted out, which is the job and duties of animal care techs and vet techs. So whether we like it or not, we have an animal services department, and if we want to save our taxpayers money, it seems that staffing some of these animal tech care positions are really important. The department needs these positions. So anyway, so I know now's not the time to ask, but I wanted to better understand why we were reducing that number, and ultimately, I mean, I'm interested in the 6 resolution authorities for the animal care tech and 4 for the vet techs as a way to move that forward.
Mr. Blumenfield, just to be clear, this is not a reduction. When you see that minus 550, that just simply means that 550,000 is coming from the unappropriated balance into the Animal Sterilization Trust Fund. So the Animal Sterilization Trust Fund is getting 550,000 of it from the unappropriated balance. In addition to that, there's another 150,000 additional general fund monies being put into it. So it's a net increase in the general fund of $150,000, but 550 of that is coming from the unappropriated balance. So it is actually a net addition. The budget right now, as you know, includes $400,000 in the animal sterilization fund plus the 1.1 that is in the unappropriated balance. So we are actually adding another 150,000 on top of that as recommended.
We're adding another 100,000 on top of the 1.1 million in the UB?
That is correct.
Okay. All right, and I know they had asked for 700,000 and for those 2, or for a number of positions, and I was just pushing for those, you know, the animal, at least the animal care techs and the vet techs to call them out.
We understand that this is a really very important issue, and as Andrea goes through the remainder of the report, there is also going to be an addition to the mid-year line item adjustment in the unappropriated balance for precisely these types of over expenditures that may be occurring over the course of the year. So we would actually encourage the Animal Services Department to report very, very regularly to the in the financial status report to your committee, to the extent that they are able to trap the community cats and be able to do the trap, neuter, and release program. They should report that to committee and seek those additional funds at that time.
Okay, so moving on from page 4. Page 5, we have disability, economic and workforce development, emergency management, and the Ethics Commission. Page 6, there's the fire department. There are also several recommendations that were discussed during the budget hearings regarding oil regulation, gas well, and drill sites. Those recommendations have been consolidated into one section under the heading Fire, Planning, Public Works Board, and the unappropriated balance. Then we have general city purposes. Mr. Chair. I'm sorry.
Yes,
go
Mr.
right
De
ahead.
Leon.
No, let's let the CLA staff finish their points right now, and then I just want to go back to just one question I have on page 6 at the very bottom, but I'll let staff finish. Okay, so page 7, we have general services, information technology agency.
Andrea, I'm sorry, really quick. Mr. Krikorian, if you could just clarify for me the process, because I do have motions related to items on these pages, on page 4 and 5. Do I just hold that to the end? Is that
I would request that you hold the motions, but feel free to ask any questions, raise any issues that would support that if you would like to. But in terms of the motions themselves, I'd prefer to do them all at once.
I'll just hold them to the end. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Mr. De Leon, followed by Mr. Blumenfield.
No motions right now. Obviously, we'll hold that to the very end.
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask the wonderful staff of the CLA just one quick question. On page 6, the last 2 bullets or the last 2 diamonds, a couple things. One is I am proud. I think we all should be proud of the LA Justice Fund increase that we're able to submit to the full council body. I just wanted a verbal confirmation that the $2 million for this specific budget is per the original instruction for a total of $6 million contract for a 3-year, multi-year commitment. Currently in the proposed budget, $1 million is allocated in the GCP. This recommendation will add an additional $1 million to that proposed budget allocation for a total of $2 million this year. And then we do have the instruction, or it's a request, that the mayor's office include $2 million for the next 2 fiscal years, 22-23 and 23-24. It is a request at this time that happen. So that would be a total of $2 million over 3 years. Perfect. I just want to get that once again confirmation. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you much, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Blumenfield.
Great. Thank you. I wanted to speak a little bit about the fire department. And UFLAC, they had this joint proposal. Unlike any other department I can think of, UFLAC and Chief Terrazas, they submitted this joint letter from labor and management agreeing to 7 priorities, requests that all deal with firefighting and public safety. It was nothing about their own salaries, bonuses, or any other sort of, selfish interest, so to speak. But most importantly, they put forward, I thought, very reasonable, modest requests that totaled only $1.7 million in add backs. They didn't submit a big wish list of $200 million or hoping to get any, just hoping that we would give a piece of that. They gave us a real list, and I know we all appreciated that here, and we talked about it extensively. And as the 2nd largest general fund department in LA, they gave us a well thought out consensus list of what is actually essential for their safety and for their members and for the public, again, of $1.7 million. And these are the guys and gals who stepped up for 13 months to do nonstop COVID testing and vaccinations simply because we asked them to help the city. And even as they continue to fight these massive fires and rescue civilians and respond to, gunshot wounds, everything else, this is what they asked for. And in particular, and of course tragically, we lost 2 firefighters who died to coronavirus while they were protecting our city. But it seems like we left out one of their 7 priorities that I couldn't find anywhere in the document. And I want to make sure that, ask if it's in there, and if it's in there, great. And if it's not, I'm going to want to make sure that we put it in. And it has to do with the $250,000 for the installation of the new extractors that they already have, but they just don't have the money to install them. And that's craziness. So we talked about this quite a bit during deliberations. I raised this. This is about cancer. This is about protecting our folks, our firefighters who protect us every day. We need to make sure the money is there. Firefighters not being able to watch their turnouts because there's cancerous material. We just can't allow that to happen. So the question is that money in there somewhere that I just am not seeing it? And if not, I certainly want to telegraph that I'm going to ask for it to be put back in or insist that we put it back in.
I don't think it's in there, but we will check to see what happened to it. We do recall the conversation, but we will verify that as we proceed here, and we'll check on that and get back to you.
Okay. I mean, that's just, to me, that is one of the top, not the top priority for things that we need to put back in. It's critically important.
Let me, through the chair.
Indeed, Mr. De Leon.
Thank you very much. And you guide us through the process. If you want us to make the motions on the back end, I just wanted to sort of echo my colleague from the Valley, Bob Blumenfield. And I know a lot of folks, feel very similar with regards to our brave, courageous, working men and women of LAFD. And I want to underscore a point that Bob just made, which is it's rare. Unfortunately, I wish it was more the general rule that when management, in this case, through the Chief Ralph Terrazas and UFLAC Local 112, when we have management and labor, coming together and working in a very cooperative manner and landing that plane. It's a good thing. It's a good thing for the city. It's a good thing for our constituents throughout the city of Los Angeles. So this is one of the rare instances when folks can really come together and really land that plane. And I know that, what they do every single day is critical for our own public safety. As Bob just mentioned a few moments ago, we've had 2 members of Local 112 who lost their lives due to coronavirus. They expose themselves every single day. I know for a fact that I almost had 12 members of Local 112 who almost lost their lives due to the fire in my district near Skid Row on Boyd Street. And thank God they didn't lose their lives. Many of them are badly scarred and have been badly injured. And several of them will never return back to the line of duty, working at fire stations in the city of LA. And that was a horrific case, but these are women and men who put their lives on the line every single day. So the very fact that we have the equipment, the extractors, yet we don't have the necessary resources to install the extractors. Each time they come out from the field, they have to take their gear off, the PPE equipment, and they have to wash that. And the very fact that our rank and file members are exposed and die in disproportionate numbers of cancer than the general population speak volumes that I think the number that Bob moved forward, 250K, is a paltry sum of dollars to what we actually owe to our members who risk their lives every day. The very fact, what they're asking for literally is the installation so they can properly wash their gear. And I think collectively, this committee will find the financial resources, whether we find it through MICLA or through the accounts, the reserve accounts that we have right now, to make sure we make this a priority. So when you deem it the appropriate time, Mr. Chair, we'll follow your lead with that motion. And I thank you very much for the opportunity to share about our colleagues.
Thank you, Mr. De Leon. Let me call on our Public Safety Chair, Ms. Rodriguez.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gregorian and Mr. Blumenfeld and Mr. De Leon. Again, that's why I was questioning and understanding the process, but we are going to be holding those motions to the end. Honestly, we recognize the need for us to provide all of those, the equipment necessary to assure their safety with those extractors, but I have a motion prepared on this item to be taken at the appropriate time. But again, I just want to be clear, I'm just trying to follow the process here and make sure that we hold these items for those motions to be introduced at the end as the chair indicated. So I do have something here, and we will make sure to address those concerns. And I do recall during the budget conversation that there were concerns that were raised about the cost that GSD is proposing in association with the installation. And I suspect that we will continue to look very closely at those costs so that we maximize the resources as we address the installation of these structures. So I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you so much, Mr. President.
Thank you. It sounds like there will be strong support for that suggestion. Mr. Blumenfield, did you have further follow-up? I see your hand up.
My hand's up, but it's page 6, but a different item.
Oh, okay. Go right ahead.
Which is the oil and gas. We put in, as I understand, $1 million for the amortization study. There had been an ask for the 3.4 million, half of the total estimate of 6.8. And I just want to understand why the smaller amount, and does this authority for one additional position in planning mean a total of 3 positions for the oil regulation ordinance? I just want to better understand what it means.
So we put $1 million aside only for the purposes of a placeholder. There is a pending report that's supposed to be coming back to council on this entire matter. What that $1 million will be used for, how many studies it will be used for, what the study plan is. I mean, that remains to be determined. And so this amount was more intended to be a placeholder to fund anything that might come up over the course of the year. I don't know what the $3.4 million is based on. Is it an annual cost? Is it for all of the costs? Is it reasonable to expect that 3.4 will be spent in 1 year? So there are a number of outstanding questions that we did have. We've included a large number of the positions that you requested during the course of these proceedings, but that $1 million was intended to be a placeholder allowing this report to come back to you, which is expected later this year.
Great, thank you.
Okay. Anything else, members?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, let me piggyback on this one too. I think the amortization on this issue on page 6 with the oil and gas well drill sites is really critical too. Again, I want to follow your lead. I don't know if this is actually the proper process right now or on the back end when you want to entertain the motions. Obviously we're adding, but I think these are small numbers what we'll be adding on the back end. But, we know that our neighbor city, Culver City, has done an appropriation almost equivalent to the city of LA. And we're the gargantuan size of the CLA. I think if we're really serious about this, we're going to have to raise this up to at least a couple more $1 million more. But again, I want to express my strong support, and when the process is correct, you guide us on the back end, and obviously we'll make the motions that are necessary.
Thank you. And we will be addressing this issue towards the end. So, Mr. Blumenfield.
Yeah, I didn't know, did I get the answer? Did the authority for one additional position in planning mean that there's 3 positions now, or is that still determined? Does that mean we have a total of 3 positions in planning?
There's one that's being added. I don't know whether planning has 2 existing. Maybe, perhaps somebody from planning department might be here, or CAO.
Oh, yes, Mr. Keller is here.
Hi, Kevin Keller, Executive Officer, City Planning. Thank you so much for that question. We're just cross-checking that ourselves and appreciate the inquiry. Based on our initial look at our budget, we do not believe we have existing positions. We had requested, I believe, the 2 positions, and we're delighted to receive 1, but that would be a total of 1 from our initial research.
Thank you.
Do you want to look, or should I move on? Do you want to look, or should I move on? So we can move on to page 7. page contains recommendations for general services, information technology agency, and the unappropriated balance, neighborhood empowerment, and the personnel department. Moving on to page 8, we have planning and the unappropriated balance, and then a group of recommendations regarding the 710 freeway corridor, and that's under planning, housing, and transportation. Page 9, we have the police department, Board of Public Works, engineering. Page 10, sanitation, street lighting, street services, recreation and parks. Page 11, recreation and parks and the unappropriated balance, and transportation. And the last page of expenditure changes, page 12, we have the unappropriated balance, youth development and the unappropriated balance, and the zoo department. And that is the end of the expenditure changes.
Actually, before we move off of this page, I just wanted some clarification for the sake of folks who are especially concerned about youth development and the unappropriated balance, because we had a number of callers who I think were concerned about what it meant to move items to the unappropriated balance, and I think there was some confusion that meant it was just going into the reserve. So can you talk a little bit about what it means to send something to the unappropriated balance?
So when we send funding or programs and funding together to the unappropriated balance, that funding stays with the program. We are just requesting that another council action take place before that funding moves into the department. So whether that's a report or some other council action that's necessary, it does not go into the reserve fund. The unappropriated balance is not a reserve, it's just a holding place so we can get reports back, more information, et cetera.
Right, so the money is still there, it's held pending further council action. And another important example of this is some of the many new programs that the mayor proposed in the budget around social equity concerns that have had no policy development associated with them yet. So the money is held in the unappropriated balance so that council will have the opportunity to develop the policy about how that program is going to be implemented. It doesn't mean that the program is going away or the money is going away.
Exactly, and it's important to know the funding needs, the staffing needs, so that that program can be implemented correctly, so it would be in the UB until we get those reports back, yes.
Very good, thank you. Mr. Blumenfield. Oh, you're muted. You're muted, Mr. Blumenfield.
Yeah, we're going kind of fast. I wanted to go back to page 9. The engineering issue, there was no funding for the positions, as I understand it, to support the CTIEP projects. And this was an A+ for me, and I think it was an A++ for Ms. Rodriguez. And we both have key projects we need to get done. Yesterday, in our districts, as do a number of our colleagues, and I see that we gave them a position, authorities, and the funding will come from the project funding. Is my understanding correct on that? I just want to confirm that the funding normally comes from project budgets and that the CLA recommendation gives BOE what they need to keep these projects on track, including receipt of skate rink in my district and others in other districts. Could you explain that?
What you said is our understanding, that those positions will be in the funding will be in the budgets of the projects. That's our understanding at this time.
Okay. Great. Also on that page, on the police page, I wanted to talk about the Animal Cruelty Task Force, but I don't think I have a question. I'll just raise that at the end in terms of motions.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Anything else, members?
So we ended at the end of page 12, which is the end of expenditure changes. Moving on to other changes, these are funding recommendations where offsets are provided, starting with the Department of Aging, Capital Technology and Infrastructure Expenditure Fund, community investment for families, fire and the UB, general city purposes and the UB. And that's the end of page 13. So just to note, under GCP and the unappropriated balance, the second bullet where it says create new line items and transfer funding to the UB for the programs delineated in attachment 4. These are the committee recommendations for transferring funding. If you turn to attachment 4, and we can go over this once again once we get to the back of the report, there are 2 charts in attachment 4. The chart at the top of the page is what is reflective of the recommendations from the Budget and Finance Committee, which programs to move to the UB. The second chart, these are not recommended in this report. These are merely suggestions for what could be considered for transfer. So we just wanted to clarify that the recommendation on page 13 and the funding that is indicated reflects the top chart on attachment 4.
Mr. Blumenfield.
Great, and I get what you were just saying, although I'm a few beats behind. I wanted to ask a question back on page 11. Dealing with transportation, memo 71. I couldn't quite tell the way this was, whether the West Valley District Engineer was included in this.
So memo 71 is reflected in the other section, which is a few pages. What was the position that you were looking for? So on page 16, which we're not to that point yet, but there are several transportation recommendations. But they did provide offsets for those, so that's why they're in the other section of the report.
So, I mean, the thing I'm looking, we lost the West Valley Engineer, which is obviously a critical position to the SIP. And it's a critical position that needs to be restored, but I just couldn't tell the way I'm reading this, whether that was included or not.
I don't see a reference specifically to West Valley, but we can find out if it's included as the time. Do you know if it's?
Mr. Blumenfield, can you tell us which memo that was? Was it in memo 71?
Memo 71, yeah.
Okay, we will check that, but I believe it is included where Andrea mentioned. Just bear in mind that on the front section of this rack-up report, it reflects the things which require additional general fund money. So anything that requires additional general fund money is reflected in the front section. The later section, which talks about other changes, are also additions to departments, but those additions have offsetting revenue that's been identified to support them. So that's why it appears in a different section. So that is probably something that hasn't been clear, we did not make clear here, but those are, so when departments look, they should understand that anything in the front part is a general fund appropriation, additional appropriation need, but the back part also provides additional funding to departments. It's just that the source of funds has been identified. So, but we will look in the back section. I don't think we've gotten to that yet, but we will check on that. If you can give me the classification again, we will check for you.
Okay, great.
What is the classification, sir?
It's the District Engineer. And I assume it would be general funded, but the West Valley District Engineer.
Okay, so as Sharon checks, we can move forward. I believe we were at 12.
You were talking about the
We were at-
GCP,
Yes.
UB, and
So-
the attachments.
Right, so we made the clarification about the attachment. I don't know if anyone had any questions about that. That was on the bottom of page 13. On page 14, we do have a recommendation for a change to the report. Under housing and general city purposes, the second bullet there is, we'd like to delete the following line item where it states, add resolution authority and 6 months funding for one director of housing for the newly created policy planning and performance division. This position was already included in the proposed budget, so that line just needs to be deleted. Other than that, on page 14 at the top, we have general services and general city purposes, housing and general city purposes, housing, general city purposes, and the unappropriated balance, human resources benefits, Board of Public Works and the unappropriated balance, contract administration, engineering, and at the bottom, engineering and general city purposes. Page 15, we have the Bureau of Street Services, and then a recommendation to modify Schedule 22, Measure M, local return. Continuing under other, page 16, this is transportation, and we do have a technical correction to make on the 6th bullet down. We'd like to add the following language in place of what is currently written. The language should read, add resolution authority and 6 months funding for 3 transportation engineering associate 2s for Vision Zero traffic signal implementation to be reimbursed from the Schedule 54 Road Maintenance and Rehabilitation Program Special Fund, Vision Zero traffic signals appropriation. So we're just changing the wording in that line item. And that is the end of the other changes. Moving on to page 17. This page reflects the mayor's proposed budget reserve fund, the revised reserve fund with the federal American Rescue Plan adjustments, and the proposed reserve fund in accordance with these report recommendations. For a list of city reserves, and we can go through this when we get to attachments, attachment 5 will have more details. Page 18, various instructions and technical adjustments, starting with Exhibit H, which also has an attachment. General instructions for various departments.
Ms. Calvin, if you can, just can you describe Exhibit H, please, what its function is and why we're deleting it in its entirety here and replacing it? Ms. Calfine, we need Ms. Calfine's mic, please.
Good afternoon. Karen Calfine with the CLA. What Exhibit H is instructions that are contained in the budget to basically implement what the proposed budget or what the final adopted budget reflects. What we do each year is separate the 2 different sections. There's one section that addresses the implementing instructions, which would include ordinances that need to be prepared and other instructions to implement the budget. And there are usually some reports that are included which aren't necessary to implement the budget. So those we separate and include in a larger attachment with all the reports. So in this case, the new Exhibit H is the implementing portion, and many of the reports that were included as part of the proposed Exhibit H are now part of the attachment, which includes all the special studies and reports.
And the reason that this is important for people who are listening and watching at home is that the budget is not primarily a vehicle to change policy. It's a vehicle to fund the policies that the council makes along with the concurrence of the mayor. And so we try to have language necessary to implement the budget, but not entirely new policy decisions that should properly be made in the ordinary course of the work of the council and the mayor.
Correct, and that's the purpose for moving some of them into the report section so that those can come back for consideration at a later point.
Great, thank you.
So further down that page, like I mentioned, there are other general instructions for city departments. The following page continues with those recommendations, including the instruction that Sharon mentioned prior to going through the report, which is the fourth bullet down, instruct the CAO to specify in the Personnel Authority Resolution that positions with 6 months funding will be effective on January 1st, 2022. Page 20, this is where we begin technical adjustments. There is no funding attached to these recommendations. This includes a MICLA recommendation, the city clerk, controller, cultural affairs, economic and workforce development, El Pueblo, ethics commission, fire, general city purposes, and the unappropriated balance. And moving on to page 21, we have general services, planning, police, public works engineering, street lighting, street services, and transportation. And then we have at the top of page 22, continuing with technical adjustments, the unappropriated balance and the zoo department. Then we have a section under the zoo for budget notes. These are various recommendations having to do with the budget, some amendments, some earmarks, and then at the bottom we have our list of attachments. Then we get to attachment 1. This attachment deals with the oil, gas, and drill sites. This takes each memo that was considered and defines specific responsibilities, states what was in the adopted 2021 budget, what's been adopted in the mayor's proposed budget, and then our recommendation in this report for funding. That's 3 pages for that attachment. The second attachment deals with the police department recommendation for hiring civilian employees. This is, in working with the department, this is their list of 102 positions for that they had priorities. Attachment 3 is linked to the committee's instruction to place $30 million in the UB for 750 targeted local hire jobs. What we did is we worked with the CAO to calculate how many positions are included in the proposed budget that are targeted local hire or bridge to jobs eligible, which we determined there were 495 at a cost of $16.7 million. This left $13.2 million remaining of that $30 million goal. With our recommendations in this report, we have determined 86 targeted local hire positions, 3 bridge to jobs for a total of 89 positions, and a total funding amount of $3 million. What we have left remaining in the UB line item is $10.26 million. This will be available for departments to use as they continue to hire TLH positions throughout the year, which is equal to about 304 additional positions.
So I suspect no general manager missed that point, but just in case they did, the objective here is that there's around $10 million sitting there waiting to be spent on positions as long as those positions are TLH. So for those managers who haven't quite gotten with the program on TLH yet, here's your opportunity, and I hope you'll join the parade, because I think I can speak for all members in our appreciation that you picked up on the importance of targeted local hire to every member of this committee, and the fact that we're significantly increasing the number of targeted local hire positions in this budget and creating incentivization to managers to actually utilize it at the same time, I think is a really important step forward. So thank you for that. I just want to make sure we put an underline for people who may be multitasking as they're listening to the Budget and Finance Committee.
And we just want to note there is a recommendation in our report that instructs the personnel department to consider part-time classifications. Some of these could be crossing guards, recreation assistants, recreation instructors, and assistant park services attendants, but there could be more. So if part-time is included in that, it could be even more positions available for that funding. Attachment 4, as we noted previously, these are recommended transfers to the unappropriated balance. As I clarified, the top chart is what the Budget and Finance Committee recommended, and that is what's recommended in this report. The bottom chart is put there for just consideration for what could be transferred to the UB. These are new programs or expansions to existing programs. Attachment 5 is a detailed look at the city's reserves, including the reserve fund, the budget stabilization fund, and the reserve for mid-year adjustments. This shows the difference between the mayor's proposed budget, the proposed budget with the federal ARP adjustments, and then in consideration of our recommended changes, you'll see that percentage at the bottom as well. Attachment 6 is Exhibit H. This was explained by Karen previously. These are implementing instructions and ordinance changes in order to implement the budget. Attachment 7 is each requested report and special study that was requested from the committee during the hearings. These include recommendations that were made during department hearings as well as those that came from memo day. Attachment 8. There were some items that were brought up during committee and in some of the council member letters to the committee.
I'm so sorry. Ms. Rodriguez.
Yeah, sorry about that. My apologies. I just wanted to bring to the attention, colleagues, again, just reiterating my concerns regarding the allocation for LASA. In H&P, we're in the process of evaluating our governance structure and how we proceed and move forward. And particularly as we were even entertaining conversations around contracting, we derived report backs that showed that our managing those contracts and providing oversight would actually cost us $4 million more than allowing LASA to continue. And I think, my concern is that having a very abbreviated contract for outreach is already demonstrating we're forcing failure in our outreach efforts. Because I've already gotten word that a couple of folks have already left because they just don't see the longer term commitment for outreach. And my bigger concern is that we're going to continue to undermine our efforts to have consistent and transparent across all 15 council districts outreach efforts that will, derive our longer term strategy and coordination systematically. So I just wanted to, kind of make that pitch one more time to all of you and just kind of raise that concern again, because 3 months of funding allocations is going to force the failure in our outreach efforts. And it's not, it's not deriving the kind of, employment that we need in order to sustain our current outreach efforts. I really do believe that it undermines a consistent and a consistent process. And I just wanted to continue to raise that concern to everybody. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, so attachment 7, then we have attachment 8. Throughout the hearings, several members, including council members that submitted letters to the committee, noted the importance of funding certain infrastructure projects. These noted below were discussed during Budget and Finance Committee. They're not recommended for inclusion at this time. However, if the federal government does invest in infrastructure, these are the projects that were discussed and that we would put forward for recommendation as a priority. And attachment 9 is a revision to the non-departmental footnote for general city purposes council community projects. This list will replace the list that's found in the current proposed budget. And that's the end of the report.
Very good. Thank you very much again for, a voluminous amount of work. Members, as you see, some of this is broad changes. Some of this is microscopic changes, but all of it is essential to making sure that the budget is as precise as it can be and reflects the values that we have set forth to the greatest degree possible. So thank you all very much for the report. So I'd like to start with a few motions. Some of these are kind of technical, and so bear with me if it takes a while. And some of them are quite significant in addressing some of the concerns that I've heard raised by the members of this committee. So let me start with motion number 1. I'd move that we restore 1 construction and maintenance supervisor 1 and 1 senior construction engineer at the Bureau of Sanitation in support of the sewer construction program without funding insofar as the positions are special funded. Ms. Rodriguez?
Oh, are we moving and seconding, or? 'Cause
Yes.
I was going to second
Yes.
your motion.
So, yes. Okay.
I seconded your motion. Okay.
Thank you very much. So if there's no discussion, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Krikorian.
Aye.
Blumenfield.
Aye.
De Leon.
Aye.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Price.
Aye.
5 ayes. This motion passes.
Thank you. Number 2, on behalf of the council president, I'd move that we include $1 million in funding in the UB as a match for federal grants to construct sidewalks on Woodman Boulevard in CD6 to be funded out of the UB reserve for mid-year adjustments. Ms. Rodriguez, does your hand indicate second? I will take it as such. So it's been moved and seconded. If there's no discussion, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Krikorian.
Aye.
Blumenfield.
Aye.
De Leon.
Aye.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Price.
Aye.
5 ayes. This motion is approved.
Thank you. Number 3, I would move on behalf of CD10 to add funding in the amount of $200,000 to the GCP allocation for Lemert Park beautification efforts from the UB reserve for mid-year adjustments. And Mr. Price seconds.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Krikorian.
Aye.
Blumenfield.
Aye.
De Leon.
Aye.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Price.
Aye.
5 ayes. This motion is approved.
Thank you. Motion number 4, on behalf of the council president, I would move that we add funding to the GCP in the amount of $350,000.
You'll just do your form. Here's my first one, second
I'm
one.
sorry, there's conversation going on. Thank you. I'll start again. Motion number 4 on behalf of the council president. I'd move that we add funding to the GCP in the amount of $350,000 for Project Beacon Journey Out from the UB Reserve for mid-year adjustments. Seconded by Ms. Rodriguez. Any discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
What's Project Beacon?
Krikorian.
Aye.
Blumenfield.
Aye.
De Leon.
Aye.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Price.
Aye.
5 ayes. This motion is approved.
Thank you. Motion number 5. I would move that we reduce the UB reserve for mid-year adjustments by $2.5 million and add $2.5 million to the oil and gas drill site amortization study line item in the UB, which would bring that to a total of $3.5 million. Seconded by Mr. Blumenfield.
Yes.
And is there any discussion? Seeing none, let's call the roll.
Krikorian.
Aye.
Blumenfield.
Aye.
De Leon.
Aye.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Price.
Aye.
5 ayes. This motion is approved.
Thank you very much. So next, members, bear with me, but as you know, I've said many times throughout this hearing that we need to, as have all of you actually, we've talked about the need to restore services at recreation and parks that had been decimated in the last recession, and still we haven't recovered from them. So I'd like to specify a few additional positions to be added, and this may take me a while. So I would move that we add support for recreation and parks for aquatics, construction, land maintenance, homeless and emergency management, human resources, and recreation staffing, including funding in the amount of $6 million from the proposed reserve fund, and the following position authorities. 1 Aquatic Facility Manager 1. 1 Aquatic Facility Manager 2. 1 Aquatic Facility Manager 3. 1 Aquatic Director. 1 Superintendent of Rec and Parks Operations. 1 Electrician Supervisor. 1 Electrician. 1 Builder Repairer 2. 1 Locksmith. 2 Mechanical Repairs. 1 Construction and Maintenance Supervisor 2. 1 Construction and Maintenance Superintendent. 1 Building Construction and Maintenance Superintendent. 3 Principal Grounds Maintenance Supervisor 2s. 2 Senior Park Maintenance Supervisors. 2 Park Maintenance Supervisors. 5 Senior Gardeners. 3 Senior Admin Clerks. 1 Emergency Management Coordinator 1. 1 Admin Clerk. 1 Senior Park Ranger 2. 1 Senior Carpenter. 2 Carpenters, and 4 Painters.
Second.
Okay, the matter's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Krikorian.
Aye.
Blumenfield.
Aye.
De Leon.
Aye.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Price.
Aye.
5 ayes, this motion is approved.
Thank you. Next, members, motion number 7, I would move that we add 3 additional bid teams, including a combination of MICLA funding and additional salary support funded by the proposed reserve fund, for a total of 5 bid teams in parks citywide. Is there a second? Seconded by Mr. Price. Thank you. And Mr. De Leon. Thank you. Whoever was first. Let's go ahead and call the roll if there's no discussion.
Krikorian.
Aye.
Blumenfield.
Aye.
De Leon.
Aye.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Price.
Aye.
5 ayes, this motion is approved.
Thank you. Motion number 8. I would move that we provide additional funding for the Office of the Chief Procurement Officer, funded out of the UB Reserve for Extraordinary Liability Claims line item on page 12. $250,000 for outreach and equity, and $500,000 for salaries and contract expenses. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Blumenfield. If there's no discussion, please call the roll.
Krikorian.
Aye.
Blumenfield.
Aye.
De Leon.
Aye.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Price.
Aye.
5 ayes, this motion is approved.
Thank you. Motion number 9. I'd move that we restore 1 Senior Personnel Analyst 1 at the Personnel Department without funding.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Blumenfield. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Krikorian.
Aye.
Blumenfield.
Aye.
De Leon.
Aye.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Price.
Aye.
5 ayes, this motion is approved.
Thank you. Motion number 10. I'd move that we add resolution authority for 1 Environmental Specialist 2 position and 1 City Planner position in the Planning Department for the Wildlife Corridor Rim of the Valley program.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Blumenfield. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, please go ahead and call the roll.
Krikorian.
Aye.
Blumenfield.
Aye.
De Leon.
Aye.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Price.
Aye.
5 ayes, this motion is approved.
All right, motion number 11. This is at the request of the council president. I would move that we reduce the COVID-19 emergency response line item in the UB by $10 million and add a new UB line item for child care business assistance for COVID response. And I think I can speak to this by saying that we all know that childcare businesses throughout the city have been decimated through COVID, and I think the intention of the council president here is to use the COVID emergency response funding as a way to ensure that we have adequate childcare resources in the private sector, as well as the hopefully the expanded childcare that we'll be providing in our recreation and park system. So is there a second?
Second.
Mr. De Leon seconds. And if there's no discussion, Mr. Price, did you? Oh, okay.
Just a second. Another second.
Very good. Thank you. So if there's no other discussion, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Krikorian.
Aye.
Blumenfield.
Aye.
De Leon.
Aye.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Price.
Aye.
5 ayes, this motion is approved.
Thank you. Motion number 12. I'd ask that we add an instruction to Exhibit H that reads as follows. Instruct the CAO and CLA to report to the committees on ad hoc COVID-19 recovery and neighborhood investment and budget and finance with policy goals, steps and timelines for implementing new programs proposed in the UB, including ongoing accounting of these funds to ensure their use for the originally intended purposes, as well as recommendations to make sustainable initiatives.
Second.
Read that again.
Sure. Instruct the CAO and CLA to report to the committees on ad hoc COVID-19 recovery and neighborhood investment and budget and finance with policy goals, steps and timelines for implementing new programs proposed in the UB, including ongoing accounting of these funds to ensure their use for the originally intended purposes, as well as recommendations to make sustainable initiatives. And sustainable initiatives means economically sustainable initiatives.
Okay. Thank you.
It goes to the need for continuing monitoring of all of the new stuff that we're trying to, get launched in this budget. So,
Mr. Krikorian, just
yes.
to be clear, so even the non-COVID related expenditures, is it all encompassing of all new programs?
That's an excellent point, and I think that the language should be as appropriate, because I think that, if it's completely non-related to COVID-19 and only related to the budget, it would be redundant to mutually refer it. I think that's, would that be specific enough of an instruction?
Perhaps you're looking, hello? Perhaps, I'm not positive, but perhaps you're looking at the programs that are funded by the ARP, or is it irrespective of the funding source?
Well, I think it would, because the expenditures are kind of irrelevant to the, well, they're not irrelevant, but we want to ensure that we have our programs being spent according to their intended purpose in a cost-efficient way, regardless of the funding source. I think this should be an ongoing instruction, regardless of ARP or otherwise.
Okay, we'll write it up as part of the committee report, and if we have anything that requires further clarification, we may ask for that clarification made during the council process, if that is okay with the chair.
Indeed. Thank you very much. So I guess we need to vote on that since it's adding an instruction. So let's go ahead and vote.
Is there a second on that motion?
Second.
Mr. Price seconds.
Krikorian.
Aye.
Blumenfield.
Aye.
De Leon.
Aye.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Price.
Aye.
5 ayes, this motion is approved.
All right, thank you. So, and then finally for me, motion number 13, I would move that we add funding to the UB for the following priorities, with the source being the proposed reserve fund. Number 1, $30 million for the expansion of solar energy generation, energy storage, and EV charging stations at city facilities. Number 2, which, and actually Mr. Price is joining me on this one, $20 million for the operation of 8 child care centers in disadvantaged communities and or alternative learning centers. And $75 million for deferred maintenance at recreation and parks.
I'll second that.
Mr. Price seconds. So let's go ahead and call the roll.
Krikorian.
Aye.
Blumenfield.
Aye.
De Leon.
Aye.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Price.
Aye.
5 ayes, this motion is approved.
Thank you very much. Okay. Mr. Price.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me, first of all, just thank our personal staffs and CLA and staff and team for just being so responsive to the committee's questions and concerns. As you referenced, they had a short window to make a variety of changes, and I just appreciate the hard work that went into making that happen. Also, a salute to you, Mr. Chairman, for presiding over a process I think that certainly has empowered and encouraged folks to get involved and to participate, some for the first time. I've also appreciated the thoughtful questions and concerns raised by my colleagues as we seek to achieve a balance between the desire for programs and services versus the available funding to pay for them. And that's just an ongoing challenge. And I'm, again, just appreciate the camaraderie and the spirit with which ideas are exchanged and suggestions made. And in her absence, a special shout out to our council president, Nuri Martinez. Her passion for families and children, I think, is certainly evident throughout this budget. And she has certainly demonstrated a willingness to consider competing points of view, to forge consensus and to govern outside the box. And that certainly is just what we need at a time like this. The amendments that I'm proposing this afternoon, Mr. Chairman, reflect the ongoing challenges that we face to reimagine public safety and reimagining equity as we know it in our city. The amendments certainly are responsive to the challenges that were reflected with the thousands of folks who took to the streets last summer, peaceful demonstrators who expressed their concerns. The challenges reflected in the budget that we adopted last year to set some new ground. My amendments seek to build upon the commitments we made in last year's budget and to build on the progressive proposals outlined in the mayor's proposed budget for this year. Finally, my amendments seek to respond to the concerns expressed by members of the public at town hall meetings, during phone calls, letters to council offices, and letters from organizations and groups like Make LA Whole. I hear you. I've been listening, and I hear you. So, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to add funding to the UB for the following priorities, with the source being the proposed reserve fund. $5 million addition to the basic income guarantee program in the UB. $10 million for expansion of the senior meals program in partnership with restaurants in disadvantaged communities. $25 million for business assistance programs in disadvantaged communities, including $5 million for implementation of the JEDI zones and the Good Food Zone programs. If you include these proposals along with the $10 million for utility assistance proposed earlier, the $20 million for child care assistance, and the $75 million for parks and recreation, capital improvements and maintenance. The total amount directed to disadvantaged communities of color in this budget is approaching $150 million. And, I think that's a good thing. These and many other programs are being recommended to be placed in the UB, which may not be where some would like to see them placed, including myself, but many of these new programs need report backs, so that's why they're going to the UB. I want to say that we'll work with the departments to make sure that this happens expeditiously so that we can get the money on the streets and into the hands of our constituents as soon as possible. Two other instructions, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to include an instruction in Exhibit H to instruct the CAO in concert with the Community Investment for Families Department to recommend an appropriate equity index for the city's use that reflects factors like unemployment, underemployment, poverty, cost of living and housing, and environmental impacts. And I'd like to move the $1.6 million in the UB for CARE/Care Plus team service level expansion at the ABH and interim housing sites to the Bureau of Sanitation, and to include an instruction in Exhibit H for Bureau of Sanitation to report back on new deployment plans for the additional Care Plus teams they have received in the proposed budget, as well as recommendations to expend the remaining $8.5 million in the UB. And that concludes my amendments, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Price. And I will second that motion. Is there any discussion on Mr. Price's suggestions? Mr. Blumenfield?
Yeah.
Oh, Ms. Rodriguez.
No, I was just
you
waiting
have
for
your
my
own
motion.
motions. Okay, very good. Okay, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Krikorian.
Aye.
Blumenfield.
Aye.
De Leon.
Aye.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Price.
Aye.
5 ayes. This motion is approved.
Thank you. Ms. Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And again, my incredible gratitude to the CLA and the team that helped to shepherd us through this process. Really a tremendous amount of respect and appreciation, and to all our city departments who have been struggling through the course of this pandemic to help keep us all together. My incredible thanks to everyone. And of course, Mr. Krikorian, to your team. You've made this first experience very easy to navigate. And I just want to just send my deepest appreciation to you and your team for that. I do have a couple of motions. I'd like to request that we reduce the increase to the reserve for extraordinary liabilities claims line item on page 12 by $5.25 million, and add $5 million to the UB line item for fire department compensation adjustments, and $250,000 to the fire department budget for the installation of the extractors.
Second.
Okay, the motion's been moved and seconded. Is there discussion? I think we had discussion on these already. Go ahead and call the roll.
Krikorian.
Aye.
Blumenfield. Blumenfield.
Blumenfield, aye.
De Leon.
Aye.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Price.
Aye.
5 ayes, this motion is approved.
Thank you.
And,
Mr.
the
Blumenfield.
second-
Oh, I'm sorry. Ms. Rodriguez, go right ahead.
Should I just read them all, or I was just going to go one by one, but because I only had 3.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay. The next is to reduce the reserve for extraordinary liabilities claim item on page 12 by $105,210 and add $105,210 to the Department on Disability for as-needed funding for student professional workers and a community program assistant 2 position.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? Let's go ahead and call the roll.
Krikorian.
Aye.
Blumenfield.
Aye.
De Leon.
Aye.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Price.
Aye.
5 ayes, this motion is approved.
Only Mr. Florian and colleagues, again, I'm asking for reconsideration and requesting that we move to include 6 months of funding in losses budget for outreach and the remaining 6 months in the UB.
All right. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Blumenfield seconds. Any discussion? All right. Let's go ahead and call the roll.
Krikorian.
No.
Blumenfield.
Aye.
De Leon.
No.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Price. Price.
No.
2 ayes and 3 noes, this motion fails.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Blumenfield.
Okay, I have a number of motions. Should I just read them all at once, or you want me to go one by one?
Well, it depends on if they're, I guess if they're related, we can take a single vote. It's up to you.
They're not related.
I don't know what they're going to be,
I mean,
so.
you went through a bunch, so I'll go through them, and then you can tell me which ones you want to take on block, or you can pull them out. Or I can go one by one, I don't care. Animal Services, wanted to add $700,000 to the Animal Sterilization Fund, whatever the amount is needed to make it a total of $1.8 million. And add position authority and 6 months funding for 6 animal care techs and 4 veterinary care techs. That's $270 and $220 piece.
Okay. I'll second that.
Okay. Next was the I think this one was done. Fire planning, the positions for the city planner, city planning associate. I think this was in yours. Never mind.
Mr. Blumenfield, I think we should just go ahead and vote on each one of these. So let's go ahead, since there's no discussion, the matter's been seconded, let's go ahead and vote on the animal services motion.
Okay.
Krikorian.
Aye.
Blumenfield.
Aye.
De Leon.
Aye.
Rodriguez. Price.
Aye.
4 ayes, this motion is approved.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Blumenfield.
Wanted to restore the full animal cruelty task force as proposed in the budget memo 160 with any additional costs deducted from the UB reserve for mid-year adjustments line item.
Second.
Okay. Should I keep
Any
going?
discussion?
Okay. Or do you want to vote on that?
Yeah, let's go ahead and vote on each one, I think.
Okay.
Is there any discussion about the animal cruelty task force? Seeing none, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Krikorian.
Aye.
Blumenfield.
Aye.
De Leon.
Aye.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Price.
Aye.
5 ayes, this motion is approved.
Thank you.
And then regarding the Public Works Board, from Memo 110, to add the senior management analyst without funding and 2 accountants, 1 management analyst for revenue preservation and generation unit, adding 6 months funding.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Price seconds. Okay.
Okay, and then
Let's go ahead and call the roll.
Krikorian.
Aye.
Blumenfield.
aye.
De Leon.
Aye.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Price.
Aye.
5 ayes, this motion is approved.
Okay, and then related, I guess, to Public Works, to add $122,000 for the city forest officer instead of from the tree planting money, to have that come from the reserve.
I didn't quite catch that, Mr. Blumenfield. What's the change?
To add $122,000 for a city forest officer. I guess right now it's going from the tree planting money, and I want, instead of having that come from the tree planting money, to have it come from the reserve.
I see. Second. Any discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Krikorian.
Aye.
Blumenfield.
Aye.
De Leon.
Aye.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Price.
Aye.
5 ayes, this motion is approved.
Okay, and then with regard to transportation, to add funding and authority for a transportation engineer for the West Valley District Office and related costs, and also similarly add all the remaining top 35 positions from Memo 71 that are not funded. I call for a second.
Second.
Okay, should I go to the next thing, or vote on that one?
So, can you restate the motion?
Okay, to add funding and authority for a transportation engineer for the West Valley District Office, or West Valley District Office, and then secondarily add all the remaining top 35 positions from Memo 71 transportation that are not funded.
Okay, and as to the first part of that, we were going to check to see if that was already in there. So I don't know if we were able to make that determination, but I guess it can be contingent on whether or not it's already included.
If it's in there, we don't have to do it twice.
Yeah.
But the DOT is telling me that it's not in there.
It's not.
And
It's not.
it's not. So then, yeah, I mean, I don't think any area should be without a district, the top position, a district engineer, just because they had the unlucky roll of the dice that's the person who sipped out.
Okay, I'll go ahead and second that. Oh, I'm sorry, was it already seconded?
Yes, Ms. Rodriguez seconded.
Okay, any further discussion on this matter? All right, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Krikorian.
Aye.
Blumenfield.
Aye.
De Leon.
Aye.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Price.
Aye.
5 ayes, this motion is approved.
Okay, that's transportation. Next was the unappropriated balance. Wanted to add $10 million to the UB for universal broadband service in disadvantaged communities from the reserve fund.
Second. Any discussion, members, on that? And that would be in the UB pending policy development.
Is that from the UB, the $10 million on broadband for disadvantaged communities?
Yes.
One thing I just want to highlight is this money that potential we can get from the state with the broadband legislation that's pending right now?
So it's a great question, and actually it's a
I just want to be careful how we do this.
Go right ahead,
because we don't want to make sure that we're
Sure,
doubling
sure.
down on dollars we're going to get eventually from the state with policies that are pending before them at this moment. And I know they're moving forward with broadband policies as it relates to communities of color too.
And in fact, the federal ARP has a specific line item for broadband infrastructure investment as well, as I think. So there may be sources that we can use to pay for this, to be sure. But I think it's well.
And we may need to we may need this money to match and to draw down those federal and state funds. So obviously, if we get the federal state money, we should use that first. And that's why this is in the UB. It's not actually appropriated yet. But it's going to sit there, and then if the feds have a matching program or a state does, we'll be positioned to just take it down and make it happen quickly. But if we, certainly if we get money from somewhere else, we would never, as a council, move the money out of the UB. We would leave it in the UB and then move forward. So I think it's prudent to have it there. It doesn't commit us to double funding. It's the last thing we want to do.
Either way, it's fine. If we move it to the UB and we end up getting the money, then it's good for us. But we can do that as well too.
All right. It's been moved and seconded. Any other discussion? Let's go ahead and call the roll.
Krikorian.
Aye.
Blumenfield.
Aye.
De Leon.
Aye.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Price.
Aye.
5 ayes, this motion is approved.
Okay, then next was in Streets LA. Wanted to add resolution authority without funding for landscape architect 2, senior management analyst 1, and a management analyst to support the street furniture, the STIP, and instruct the Street Services Bureau with the assistance of the CAO to report on options for front funding these positions and then reimbursing the staff revenue.
Second. Any discussion? Positions are without funding, excuse me, so let's go ahead and call the roll.
Krikorian.
Aye.
Blumenfield.
Aye.
De Leon.
Aye.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Price.
Aye.
5 ayes, this motion is approved.
Okay, on street lighting, I want to make the digital inclusion a senior management analyst 2, not a senior management analyst 1. It's kind of a technical one, but.
Okay. Second. Any discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Krikorian.
Aye.
Blumenfield.
Aye.
De Leon.
Aye.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Price.
Aye.
5 ayes, this motion is approved.
Okay, and then on attachment 4, the DCA requests that the $2 million for the cultural grants program increase. We're talking about not transferring that to the UB. The awards allocation's already been done and should go out on June 1st. So transferring to the UB is going to delay the distribution of funds by 3 to 6 months due to the legislative process, I'm told, and I don't want to slow anything down. The mostly small to mid-sized arts organizations are already suffering. A lot of them can't access the EWDD and other financial programs. So that's why I want to move their request to do that, which is to request that the $2 million for cultural grants program not be transferred to the UB.
Okay, and I'd like to ask Ms. Galvin to speak to that.
Just to clarify, the chart on the bottom of the page, those are not recommended for transfer to the UB. Those are just suggestions. So that cultural affairs money will remain in the department unless you choose to transfer it, and it appears that you don't want that transferred, so it will just remain there.
Great, so then I don't have to, it's done without my doing it. That's perfect. DCA was worried about that, and I was very sympathetic to that concern. So thank you for clarifying that. Moving on, attachment 8. I want to add 2 things to that attachment, and this is not funding. This is the unfunded priorities that we want to put out there in case we get federal money, and that's to include to add to that memo the $17 million funding gap for the LA River pathway from Van Alden to Balboa. and to add the rec and parks. That's bullet number 1, and bullet number 2 is to add the rec and parks projects that were submitted for state Prop 84 grants but not funded. So again, this is to add it to attachment 8. We're not funding it in this budget. It is to make sure it's on that list of priorities. And I think I said it wrong. It wasn't June, but July. But
Second. Any discussion? Seeing none, let's please call the roll.
Krikorian.
Aye.
Blumenfield.
Aye.
De Leon.
Aye.
Rodriguez. Price.
Aye.
5 ayes, this motion is approved.
Thank you. Anything else, Mr. Blumenfield?
Coming up with stuff. No, I'm just kidding. I think the only thing, when we talked about transportation, I don't know, we talked about the district engineer. Did we close the loop on the remaining positions from Memo 71? I don't know that we did that.
I
thought you spoke to the engineer position. We said it was not included. You said to restore all the ones that were included of the 79, I believe it was, that was mentioned in the memo.
Okay, so we did do that.
Yes.
Okay, great. I knew we did it for the one specific position. I didn't know if we did it for the others.
No, we took the vote up collectively.
Okay. Okay, great. I think that's it for the moment. Thank you.
For the moment.
Working
Okay,
on this.
1 second, Ms. Rodriguez. We're going to go to Mr. De Leon, who's been patiently waiting. Mr. De Leon.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much, colleagues. I appreciate it. I just got a few, just very quickly, Mr. Chair. I'd like to make a slight technical amendment, change, a slight technical change. Modify attachment number 7 in page 9. It is R63, report R63 as follows. And it is, quote, delete the report back identified in R63 and replace it with a budget note on page 22 of the report that reads, in the CTIEP line item, quote, curb ramps with signal construction, another citywide curb, end quote. Set aside 1.5 million of the 8 million for the access ramps associated with the 7th Street skate project. That's one. I don't know, Mr. Chair, I just have 3 more if you want to do this
Sure.
in total.
I'll second the first one, and no, let's go ahead and vote on them independently. So as to that motion, I will second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, let's call the roll.
Krikorian.
Aye.
Blumenfield.
Aye.
De Leon.
Aye.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Price.
Aye.
5 ayes, this motion is approved.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Secondly, I'd like to make a motion to set aside 2 million in the UB for the acquisition of the 710 surplus properties from Caltrans in order to construct affordable housing.
Okay, is there a second? And Mr. De Leon, we were talking earlier about that, about the state funding issue. Is it your expectation that that will include or possibly support our ability to get state grant funding to pay for that?
That is correct.
Okay, I'll second the motion. Any discussion? Seeing none, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Krikorian.
Aye.
Blumenfield.
Aye.
De Leon.
Aye.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Price.
Aye.
5 ayes, this motion is approved.
Almost send Mr. Chair as well as colleagues. I'd like to say I'm glad that you support, Mr. Chair, the study of the amortization. I am concerned about the cut in staffing as it relates to the actual phase out of oil drilling and see that we're staffed up for inspections and compliance positions, which I support, which we all support. But we need the staff power to get this done. So I'm interested in making sure that we have the staffing there with the 3 positions, either with Public Works and or with city planning. So I therefore move to include an additional 3 positions under the Board of Public Works, 1 senior management and analyst, 2, 1 environmental engineer, and 1 management analyst. All related, these are all related specifically to the phase out of oil drilling in the city of LA.
Second.
Okay, the matter's been moved and seconded. I would just say as to those positions, I very much share the objective of those positions. The Board of Public Works still has not hired its petroleum administrator, and my position in this has been that the presence of a petroleum administrator to be able to advise about what staffing is necessary and so on is a prerequisite to this. That's why we haven't done it, or why I haven't supported it to date. So, but I certainly share the goals and the objectives. I just wanted to make that point. So let's go ahead and, if there's no other discussion, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Krikorian.
No.
Blumenfield.
Oh, you're muted, Mr. Blumenfield.
Aye.
De Leon.
Aye.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Price.
Aye.
4 ayes and 1 no. This motion is approved.
Very good. Thank you. Mr. De Leon, next one.
Yeah, lastly, Mr. Chair, and thank you very much for your indulgence, as well as my colleagues, Mr. Blumenfield, Ms. Rodriguez, and Mr. Price. Just lastly, I just want to make just a very quick statement. As we all know, we've heard from a community of coalition advocates, including Make LA Whole, who have presented us with a truly aspirational, list of programs that I think are worthy of investment. And fundamentally, what they've done is incredible work in identifying the investments that would make a difference in the human condition of working Angelenos. For example, we had this discussion, and I think this is something that you've been very supportive, and we did actually act on this, but the issue with regards to childcare, which is, and elder care, which is enormous, and the growing challenges facing all our families, but in particular our working families who are struggling to make ends meet. The issue with regards to meals for seniors. And let's be honest with each other, as we all know, if the city doesn't step up with providing those meals, those lunches for our senior citizens, well, quite frankly, there is no lunch for senior citizens. And I know that in Boyle Heights and El Sereno, in Highland Park, those hot meals, that is a connective tissue that bring our senior citizen community together goes a long way. It means a lot. Obviously, Mr. Price spoke eloquently with regards to entrepreneurship and making those investments, business investments with women, but women in particular who have been hardest hit by this global pandemic, the COVID-19. We know that Latina women, African-American women, Asian American women, have been devastated. Oftentimes they're the breadwinner as the youngest child of a single immigrant mother with a 3rd grade education. It was my mother who paid for the rent and put the food on the table and the clothes on my back. So we know that this pandemic has really devastated women, throughout the nation, but especially here in LA, women of color. So I just want to say one last thing, and I'm not quite sure if there was a motion, but if it wasn't, I do want to make a motion on the issue with regards to utility assistance, because for struggling families, listen, if you can't pay your utilities, your refrigerator goes out, your food rots. Ensuring for those who have HVAC systems and air conditioning, especially during what may be a hellaciously hot summer due to extreme weather patterns because of climate change, where it used to be hot in LA during the summer times because of our cement, concrete, and asphalt, it may get even hotter. And those are going to impact those communities that have limited access to grass, open space, to parks and trees for shade. And those are marginalized communities throughout the city of LA. But that includes San Fernando Valley, because we know that, parts of San Fernando Valley are the hottest, in the city of LA. Keeping oxygen, open, running for our senior citizens, lights, keep the lights on, for our kids so they can study. And that's why utility relief program is so critical. They're essential. And I'd like to move that we increase the funding for utility debt relief in the amount of $10 million for your consideration, Mr. Chair, as well as my colleagues.
Second.
Mr. Price seconds. Thank you, Mr. De Leon, and certainly that seems to me to be an appropriate and timely change given the number of people who are delinquent even right now on their DWP bills. And of course, this would be a UB program so that we could consider whether we want to expand lifeline programs or other ways to help people with this really crushing burden that so many are facing right now. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for indulgence, and to my colleagues as well. I know we haven't got the vote yet, but thank you nonetheless.
Any other discussion, members? Yes, Ms. Rodriguez.
Yeah, Mr. Krikorian. So some of what I've just have been kind of reflecting on is, we've got a lot of duplicative programs that are being offered from the federal government, from the state level, county, and the county did a really good job of sadly cutting out a lot of our restaurants when they were doing the relief effort. They were very explicit about LA City, you're not going to get a piece of this. But my concern is the duplication of those that secure these resources and that it doesn't get widely distributed amongst the need. That some folks are taking advantage, and I was just curious if, listen, I was the original author of the utility relief effort during the early days of COVID, but my concern is those, and we've sadly seen individuals that have taken advantage of even EDD. And so what efforts or reporting could we evaluate to assure that we are actually reaching the individuals who need the help? And the reason why is because we know of the digital divide. We know how many communities of color have not had access to the technology that has availed them the very resources that we continue to try and provide. So it's not actually, I'm concerned that we are not actually reaching the very people who we are attempting to connect these resources to. And so I just want to make sure that as we move forward with these types of programs, again, we saw it with the senior meals program, that we didn't see this rapid ramp up of individuals subscribing because seniors don't have internet. They don't know what a URL is, and they don't know how to sign up or subscribe to these services. So my concern is that we have a largely weighted obligation on the public to subscribe to these things, where we need to really derive some other method of identifying who they are. And perhaps that's driven out of, for example, the Department of Water and Power saying who's on the edge of having their power shut off because they're in arrears. And that we flip it so that it's not perhaps something where you just, okay, listen, I'm gonna go call in because I heard there's $500 of relief available to me, but that we're actually scrutinizing or availing these resources to meet the very people who are in jeopardy given the pattern of repayment. And so I want to offer that as perhaps a way of us to be more thoughtful in connecting these very critical resources to the very people who need it. And so I'd ask my colleagues for some consideration.
Ms. Rodriguez, it is a point extremely well taken, and it's true of pretty much all of the the expenditures that we're setting aside appropriations for today and putting into the UB, because we're funding these programs, but it's going to be up to the council and the policy committees to develop really thoughtful implementation plans for this, because many people in the public don't appreciate how much of all of the factors you just described, how much complication there is in actually spending money. It's not enough to just set the money aside. We have to figure out how do we do it in a way that's cost effective, that's reaching the right people, that ensures that we're going to get the most bang for the buck, that's equitable. All of those factors are things that are going to be subject to future policy development. And these numbers may turn out to be the wrong numbers as we do that policy development work as well. So that's why we will have to revisit all of this, over the course of the year through the FSRs and otherwise. But it's a point really well taken.
Mr. Chair, may I
yes,
add,
Mr. DeLeon.
as well too?
Yes.
Is it okay, Mr. Chair?
Yes, except I don't remember now. Have we voted on the pending motion?
We have not voted yet on this motion. I
Did
just
you want to
wanted
speak to it again,
to
Mr.?
Ms. Rodriguez,
Yeah.
and what you just emphasized. I just want to say excellent points, and Ms. Rodriguez is on target. Oftentimes government at the federal, state, and local level, when we announce dollars for relief, quite frankly, the strongest and the swiftest, get the dollars. We saw the COVID-19 vaccination rollout, and we saw that those, who are for high-income neighborhoods, swiftly got the vaccination. There was a criteria. I think the criteria was sort of kind of made it very difficult, for communities of color that were most impacted by the coronavirus. But those who are quick get access to dollars. Those who fundamentally most need it, and in this case, the utilities debt relief, are for the most vulnerable communities. And to your point, in policy committee, we can develop the criteria. And I think that Ms. Rodriguez undoubtedly, because she has led on this issue, will play and can play, a strong leadership role in developing that policy criteria for those who will actually get to draw down on these necessary dollars to keep those lights on and make sure they don't go in the dark because of what the pandemic has done to them and their livelihoods, their income. So I think these are points that are excellent that are made, and I appreciate very much Mrs. Rodriguez's deep concerns, which I share.
All right. Any other discussion on this matter, members? All right, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Krikorian.
Aye.
Blumenfield.
Aye.
De Leon.
Aye.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Price.
Aye.
5 ayes. This motion is approved.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. De Leon?
Mr. Chair, that would be it for me. Thank you very much to you and my
Very good.
colleagues.
Thank you. A couple of other kind of housekeeping, well, not housekeeping, but a couple of other small things. I'm sorry, Ms. Rodriguez, did you have an additional motion? Go right ahead.
I did. I apologize. So my apologies. I hadn't realized that when we were looking at attachment 4 that the additional transfers to the UB was not something that was automatic. So I wanted to request that that in the GCP, the grid increase of $7,045,000 be placed into the UB pending a report to Public Safety Committee for purposes of their expenditure plan.
Second.
Thank you.
Any discussion on this one, members? All right, seeing none, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Krikorian.
Aye.
Blumenfield.
Aye.
De Leon.
Aye.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Price.
Aye.
5 ayes. This motion is approved.
All right, Mr. Blumenfield?
Yeah, I wanted to go back up to the something Mr. De Leon brought up about the positions for the amortization study, which he and I are in total agreement on. But it's my understanding, actually, I've been hearing that those positions should be going to planning and not Board of Public Works. And I want to make sure they go to the right place, or at the very least that we authorize the positions and ask CLA to consider where the 3 positions should go. Maybe the right way to do it. But I'm hearing that planning is the better place. We have this exact same goal, and I just wanted to see with Mr. De Leon if that could be a friendly amendment, just to make sure we put it in the right place.
Oh, perfectly fine, through the chair. That's why I said either or, Public Works or City Planning. Friendly amendment accepted, Mr. Bloomfield.
Okay.
We can put it in the UB. It could be put in the UB with the rest of the funding that was for the amortization study.
So this, I don't know if you heard that.
I did. Yeah, I had been told that we had designated it specifically for Board of Public Works, and some of it may be going to planning. But if we put it there and we have the CLA weigh in on where to put those positions, that's great.
So hold that in the UB pending that decision about where the position goes.
Yes.
That's what the CLA is suggesting. So, okay. Do we need to, I guess let's go ahead and vote on that again as amended then.
Krikorian.
Aye.
Blumenfield.
Aye.
De Leon.
Aye.
Rodriguez. Rodriguez.
Aye.
Price.
Aye.
5 ayes. This motion is approved as amended.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Blumenfield, anything else? Okay. I would like to move that we amend Exhibit H, recommendation H14, to read as follows. Instruct the chief legislative analyst, working with the city attorney and the city administrative officer, to finalize and delegate authority to the CAO to sign the memorandum of agreement with Metro for the Transportation Communication Network, and report on the timing of any anticipated city revenues pending the adoption of an ordinance to enable the program. Is there a second? Mr. Price seconds.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, let's call the roll.
Krikorian.
Aye.
Blumenfield.
Aye.
De Leon.
Aye.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Price.
Aye.
5 ayes. This motion is approved.
Thank you. And then finally, members, finally for me anyway, on attachment 8, the infrastructure projects to consider for future funding, I would ask that we add to that list the Old Washington Library restoration at 1803 South Arlington Avenue. And the funding required for that is, at this point, unknown, but that's a project for future consideration. Seconded by Mr. Price. Any discussion? Seeing none, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Krikorian.
Aye.
Blumenfield.
Aye.
De Leon.
Aye.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Price.
Aye.
5 ayes. This motion is approved.
Okay.
Anything else, members? Mr. Blumenfield.
Yeah, it's great. I think I'm a beat behind on the motion the second motion that you just, the first motion of those two that you just did about the MOA.
Yes.
I don't know if I fully understood that. Are you saying that the CLA would be able to, are we losing our authority when it comes to billboards by adopting that motion as a council?
No, to the contrary. It's because we have that authority that we're able to derive revenues from the MOU with Metro. It's just that Metro has, to be candid, dragged its feet in getting this done. And so the point of this is to press the city, family, and Metro to go ahead and finalize that report, that agreement, so that the city can begin to derive revenues from the Metro use, from the Metro use of signage on Metro property.
Right, but we still get a crack at that agreement as a council.
Actually, let me check on that.
Policy will come back to us. Our sign code needs to be amended. So
No, but the contract. Yeah, no, actually, on the contract, it would be a delegated authority to the CAO to sign.
Because I'd like us to be able to have oversight over that. So I don't know if you could take as a friendly amendment to make sure the council has oversight or has approves it.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. So we'll change the language to so let me repeat the language then, as revised. Instruct the chief legislative analyst, working with the city attorney and city administrative officer, to finalize the memorandum of agreement with Metro for the transportation communication network and report on the timing of any anticipated city revenue pending the adoption of an ordinance to enable the program, and after approval by the city council, to delegate authority to the city administrative officer to sign the agreement.
Great, that's much better. Thank you. Thank you for that addition.
Thank you for the good suggestion. Okay, so let's go ahead and vote on that then as revised.
Krikorian.
Aye.
Blumenfield.
Aye.
De Leon.
Aye.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Price.
Aye.
5 ayes, this motion is approved as amended.
Okay. Members, anything else? Okay, then we've come to the point where we now have to vote on the entirety of the recommendations as we have just amended them. So this will be the collective rack-up with all of those many revisions that we just made, and the result of this will be the work product that gets reported as our recommendation to the City Council. So, is there any discussion? All right, then let's go ahead and call the roll on the recommendations as they have been amended.
Krikorian.
Aye.
Blumenfield.
Aye.
De Leon. De Leon. De Leon.
Aye.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Price.
Aye.
5 ayes, the item is approved as amended.
Very good. Thank you very much, members. Terrific work today and throughout this hearing. I want to, just as we draw this work to a close, I want to take a moment to again reiterate our several times repeated thanks today to our CLA, Sharon So, and her entire team, Karen Kalfayan, Andrea Galvin, and all of the rest of the people who work so hard to provide this work product. And not only this work product, but throughout the year, monitoring the budget on our behalf, working with the CAO to ensure that our money is being spent in the most effective way possible, as well as all the work that they do on a normal basis, just advising us on policy and making sure that we're on the right path. So thank you to each of you. I want to extend the committee's thanks to Council President Nuri Martinez and her entire team. The budget and finance process is always one that's done in close cooperation between this committee and the Council President, and these last 2 budget cycles have been, maybe among the most challenging budget problems ever to be solved, or at least in recent years to be solved by a council president working with this committee. So I definitely want to thank our council president, Nuri Martinez, and her entire team, especially Akli Padilla, Alexis Wesson, Joanna Reyes, and Anna Hovasapian, who have all been instrumental in this process. The mayor provided us this year with a proposed budget that, in my view, was innovative and a great starting point for our work. It was a budget that was responsible and dedicated to justice and equity, as well as investing in some of the things that have not been invested in quite some long time. So I think Mayor Garcetti did a splendid job on the proposed budget that was before us, and I want to thank not only him, but of course the entire mayor's budget team, including Matt Szabo, Raul Mendoza, Margaret Wynn, and everyone else at the mayor's office who contributes every year to this budget process. All of the general managers and departmental staff who not only came here, were subjected to our questioning, provided answers to every single thing we could possibly think of to ask, but also responded to 210 budget memos in very short order, along with the CAO. Thank you to all for your participation in this process. And then, of course, here in the committee itself, again, this has been an odd year for practical reasons as well as budgetary reasons, and the fact that we've had to do so much of this virtually. I'm sitting here in council chambers, the members are virtual, and this has presented great challenges to our committee staff. So I want to thank Mandy Morales and the entire team from the city clerk's office for their support this year and always of the committee. And the ITA team, especially Aaron Lee, Andrew Wang, Daniel Parks, the desktop support crew, as well as Joel, Ed, Franco, Manuel, Francisco, Mariana, and everyone at Council Audio and with Channel 35 for bringing these meetings to the public. And then, of course, behind the scenes, along with the department heads and the folks who are here in the council chambers, there's an entire army of analysts, people who are interrogating the responsible public servants who take this work so seriously as we do this budget process. And Ms. Rodriguez was kind enough to say that as a new member, this was a process that seemed relatively easy for her. Believe me, it is only so because of literally the hundreds of people who contribute their time and effort to making sure that this process works seamlessly because of the work that they do. And so that brings me, of course, next to each of you members and the commitment that you bring to this process, the thoughtfulness of your questions, the depth of your preparation. I don't think anyone in the public can really fully appreciate how much time each of you puts into every page of this budget and figuring out whether or not this reflects our priorities, whether there are better ways of doing things. But we do this year in and year out, and it is exceptionally laborious. It doesn't just happen during budget season, it happens throughout the year. And so to all of you, I'm not only I, but the people of Los Angeles are exceptionally grateful for your commitment. And of course, we know that none of us ever could begin to do this work without our respective staffs, who make us look as though we're, they always make us look better. And so I especially want to take a moment to thank, in Mr. Blumenfield's office, Jeff Jacoberger and Semi Park, in Mr. De Leon's office, Nate Hayward and Sarah Palacios, in Ms. Rodriguez's office, Felicia Orozco, and in Mr. Price's office, Marisa Alcaraz, all of whom, work day in, day out, and late nights during budget season to make sure that this process goes well. And then in my own case, I want to thank my Chief of Staff, Cara Tarosian, my entire policy team, and including my field team, who also contribute to the work that we do. And then, above all, the man who really runs this budget for the last 9 years without fanfare, but with incredible sophistication and competence that inspires confidence in all of us, Mr. Matt Hale. So thank you to each and every one of you. And then finally, this is a special moment to give thanks to the CAO. We always so appreciate the incredible role and difficult role that the CAO takes in preparing our budget. So I want to thank our CAO, Rich Llewellyn, and his whole staff, including Ben Ceja, Jacob Wexler, Janelle Irving, Mara Legaspi, Brian O, and especially the Budget Memo Squad, who I don't know how they do it every year, but they do. And it's tough work, especially when we throw 200 memos your way, but they get it done. And of course, Mr. Llewellyn, in the midst of our doing this, has shared with us the bittersweet, sweet for him, bitter for us, news that he is going to begin to enjoy his retirement from his service to the city. And so this will be the last budget that we'll be working with Mr. Llewellyn. Of course, this has been a long, distinguished career in public service for Mr. Llewellyn. Long before he was the CAO, he proved himself in some of the most difficult jobs that anybody could have in this city, working for the city attorney, working for Mr. Koretz. That's a challenge in itself. But his office has had, he has led his office in labor negotiations with all of our city labor partners through some of the most difficult negotiations and times we've had. His office was negotiating a P3 deal for the Parker Center replacement that would have utterly transformed downtown Los Angeles. He has produced now, I think, 5 budgets, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Llewellyn. This is number 5 for you. And all the while, in addition to all of those tasks, the CAO's office under Mr. Llewellyn's leadership has been central to the city's response to homelessness throughout the city. And he's overseen and helped us carry out one of the biggest expansions of shelter for the unhoused, certainly in the city's history, and one of the largest expansions of shelter probably in the nation. And, you know, by the way, while all that was going on, he helped the city manage a pandemic and, you know, the collapse of our local economy and, you know, other fiscal and human and otherwise emergencies, let's say. So, Mr. Llewellyn, we want to thank you. Thank you for your competence. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your vision. And especially as we do this tough work, thank you for your good humor, your optimism, your ability to help us see the positive even at a time when the clouds seem dark. You've been a person focused on solutions rather than barriers. And so we thank you for your service, and we wish you all the best as you go forward. And with that, members.
Mr. Chair, one quick thing.
Yes, Mr. Blumenfield.
As the vice chair and as a member of this committee, I am not only obligated but honored to say that the biggest thanks of all needs to go to you, Mr. Chair. You have continued to lead us just deftly and admirably, and you make a very complex process into something that is understandable, and you have a great way of explaining the way things are going to the public. And we all work hard, but you as the chair have to work 10 times harder. So thank you. And all of us owe you a big, and the city of LA owes you a big hand and a big debt of appreciation. So thank you, Mr. Chair.
You are very kind to say so, Mr. Blumenfield. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chair,
we're a great team.
Let me just add on a couple
Mr.
words
DeLeon.
to, let me tack on to what Mr. Blumenfield just mentioned. It's something that's pretty heady coming from a former chair, himself of the Budget Committee of the California State Assembly. You carried yourself elegantly. You worked tirelessly, you and your staff, with all of our staffs collectively, along with CLA, all the department heads. It's not easy, especially during the most challenging budget year, probably in modern day history for the city of LA, given the circumstances. So I tip off my hat, in recognizing you, and want to echo what Mr. Blumenfield just mentioned a few moments ago about you and your person and the way you've led us through this process. And as we deliver a budget to the full body for their deliberation and for their commentary, and as we move forward, thank you very much. And lastly, to the transplant from North Carolina, who came, across the country, and it's a classic California, Angelino story. You leave your hometown and you come over to the side, to the West Coast, and to work under then Mayor Eric Garcetti in CD13, and coming into City Hall and arguably holding one of the most powerful positions, one of the most influential positions when it comes to the budget and in the finances of the city of LA. To Rich Llewellyn, my friend, I wish you the very best. You're going to be very missed. Unfortunately for me, I only had just 6 months, to work with you, but I wish you the very best, my friend. I know that we'll stay close with each other wherever you may be at, or wherever you may be going. So thank you for your service.
Thank you, Mr. DeLeon. Mr. Llewellyn, would you like to make any comments before we conclude?
Mr. Chair, the only thing I'd like to say is thank you. As you say, it's been a number of budgets we have been through, some normal, and the last couple absolutely abnormal. And you have done an amazing job kind of steering the ship through that process. And it has been an honor to work with you for our residents. That's why we're all here. And I couldn't do what I do without the team in the CAO's office, who are very smart, very dedicated, and actually always trying to get to yes. They chose government service because they want to help people. And they could be doing something else, and they're here to help people. And so that's what I see all of you doing. I've seen you do it in your other jobs, your other careers. You want to make people better. And that's why it's such a great job. And I wish you all the best as you continue to make Los Angeles the greatest city on the planet.
A beautiful note upon which to conclude. Thank you, Mr. Llewellyn. And with that, members, this hearing of the Budget and Finance Committee's consideration of the Mayor's proposed budget for fiscal year 2021-2022 is now concluded, and we are adjourned.